Hello, friends.
Hey guys.
Thanks for joining us for another episode here on Patreon. As always, thank you for your support, whether you've been here or you're just joining us now. I appreciate you guys being patient with me as we navigate life,
Yeah.
grief, the holidays, all that
It,
good shit.
if you're normal people like we are, you have kids and full-time jobs,
Yeah,
and that shit takes a lot of time.
yeah. And with the way the world is going, it's really hard for me to get out of bed some days, but I'm doing it, and we're back.
Yeah.
All right. This week we have a really terrible story for you, and this one is just bad from beginning to end. This week we are going to be covering the case of Carl Panzram.
Carl Panzram.
Carl Panzram.
Panzram.
Panzram. Carl Panzram was born on June 28th, 1891. He had one of the worst starts at life that I've ever heard of, and he would take his trauma out on everybody else. Panzram was the sixth of seven children born to Johanna Gottlieb Panzram and Matilda Elizabeth Panzram, who were East Prussian immigrants. The family lived on a farm outside of East Grand Forks, Michigan, that the children were first forced to work on. When truancy laws for school came into effect, the parents refused to find other help for the farm and would just make their children work through the night.
Man, this dude's picture looks like stuff nightmares are made out of.
He is the stuff nightmares are made out
Jesus
of.
Christ.
Yes. Like, I don't know. There's one movie about him, like about Carl Panzram, but I don't think he's been the inspiration for any like super well known characters. But goddamn, does he need to be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a
'Cause, like,
super villain.
Buffalo Bill would have loved this motherfucker.
Right.
Carl claimed later in life that most days he would only get 2 hours of sleep before he had to get up and go to school. The children were also abused in various methods, including being bound by chains and being starved. Panzram would also claim that he was not well liked as a kid, probably because he was a liar and a thief by the age of 5
Mm.
and only got meaner as he got older. Around the age of 7, his father abandoned the family. This is real fucking gnarly, bro. I actually had to look up what part of the body this was, and I'm nauseous even thinking about what they did to this kid. Around this time, Panzram developed an infection in the mastoid process of his temporal bone, which is a small bone located behind the ear.
Mm.
He was forced to undergo surgery at home. They drilled into this kid's right here behind his fucking ear at home,
Ah.
which caused the infection to get worse, and he was taken to the hospital where he underwent more surgery.
Fuck, man.
He's 7. He's a year younger than our daughter at this point. Can you
Jesus.
imagine drilling into her fucking skull at home?
Probably with a hand drill too.
Just laying her out on the fucking foosball table and like, no. It is not known for sure, but some people point to this as a possible cause of brain damage, which, as we know, combined with other factors, is the perfect recipe for a serial killer. Panzram's first run in with the law happened when he was 8. Now imagine our sweet baby out there playing Beat Saber, getting arrested and charged with drunken disorderly
Jesus. All right.
in 1899 in juvenile court. Then at age 12, he was once again arrested and jailed for being drunk and incorrigible. So it's
Damn.
like, I don't know why. Incorrigible is one of those words that makes me giggle. Like, you're so incorrigible. And it's like, yes, I am. Thank you. Soon after he was released, he stole cake, apples, and a gun from his neighbor's house. Now, he's 12 at this point.
Right.
12. He's already been arrested twice for being drunk in public.
Damn.
Like, we thought we had it crazy growing up. I started taking like sips out of beers that like I was forced to get for people when I was about 10. I was not getting drunk
Yeah.
and being disorderly in public.
That's crazy.
In October of 1903, which I guess, let's see, yeah, he was 12. Panzram's mother sent him to Minnesota State Training School, a reform school. Dun dun dun. Anybody knows anything about reform schools? They ain't great. They weren't
No.
great in the early 1900s, and they are not great in the early 2000s.
No.
Panzram alleged that he was sexually and physically abused while incarcerated there starting day one. He claimed there was a room that the kids had dubbed the paint room because they would leave the room painted with bruises and blood.
Mm.
Panzram hated this place so much that on July 7th, 1905, he burned that motherfucker down.
Right on.
Burned it fucking down.
He
And
said,
that's when
fuck
you
that
go,
school.
all right, you got a room that the kids dubbed the paint room because you're beating them so fucking bad they come painted out in blood and bruises. Burn that motherfucker down, Carl.
Yeah.
But that's about where like my love for him. But that did not mean he was free. After stealing money from his mother's pocketbook, she had him incarcerated at Red Wings training school. And not that Red Wings either. Get your mind out the gutter.
Not the hockey.
Not that one either. Nope. Although this is
Minnesota.
Minnesota. No, I think the Red Wings is what is Red Wings hockey? Canada?
Minnesota, I think.
Well, shit. Look, you got me having to go fucking investigate who the hell the Red Wings are in hockey. Jeez, because now I gotta know.
Or is it Toronto? No, Toronto's something else.
Detroit.
Detroit. I should have known that one.
I should have because my mother was from Michigan,
Woo
but
woo.
it was a short incarceration though, and he was paroled in 1906. So you're better than me. I see Red Wings and I think about like eating out a girl on her period. So there's that.
Getting out on the red carpet.
Around this time, Panzram began showing signs of alcoholism, and at the age of 14, he ran away to live on the streets. Showing signs of alcoholism at 14.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
That's
like
way too young.
I've been around alcoholic men my whole life. I don't think I've ever fucking known an alcoholic 14-year-old. Like kids that drank at 14, sure. But like your friend that ended up getting alcohol poisoning that one time in school and y'all just left him in the fucking truck in the parking lot.
That's what we were gonna do. But that's what we didn't do because like it's probably a good thing that we didn't. Like no, he wound up falling and busting his head, and then like teachers came over and they were like, what's going on here with this guy? And then he got in trouble. Almost caused him not to graduate.
Idiot.
But it's a good thing because if we had left him in his truck, then
he'd probably be dead.
He might have died because he had alcohol poisoning.
No idea how lucky he was. And what were y'all, like 16?
Yep. And I was the only one that, was trying to take care of him. Everybody else left, and I was trying to get him to his next class. And he didn't make it. He fell. As soon as I let go of him, he fell. Because like I was going to go.
I can see him doing that too.
I was trying to get his. I was trying to get his book bag, and I was like, "Here, let me carry your book bag." And he's like, "No." And as soon as he like took one step forward, he was like, "Wow!" Busted above his eyebrow, and blood started going. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Grabbed his hand and was like, "Here, hold here."
I mean, listen, I'm not judging. I can't say anything. I was arrested high on fucking Vicodin in high school. So
then teachers.
The DEA agent was like, "Are you sure you haven't taken any reefer this morning?"
Well, teachers rushed over, and then I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll see you later."
Yeah. Once the teachers are there, you're like, "Adults are here. Bye."
Bye.
I'll always remember that DEA agent. He asked me if I'd smoked any reefer that morning, and I busted out laughing. I was like, "Who the fuck says reefer, dude?"
Yeah.
The fuck are you talking about reefer? No, I told you. I took 500 milligrams of fucking Vicodin. Thank you very much.
They found the bottle of
liquor. Vodka. Was it vodka?
No, it was Everclear.
Ooh, no wonder he had alcohol poisoning. Jesus Christ. Fucking 190 proof shit.
It's crazy.
Panzram would travel around the country by hopping trains and claimed that on one train during this time he was gang raped by a group of homeless men. In the summer of 1906, Panzram was arrested again, this time in Butte, Montana, for burglary. He was sentenced to 1 year at Montana State Reform School in Miles City.
Burgling.
Burgling. He would later he would claim later in life that he was punished by a guard there who he turned around and hit with a wooden board, putting him in the hospital. As punishment for this offense, Panzram claims he was sent to solitary confinement. And then in 1907, Panzram and a safecracker named James Benson escaped from the school, fleeing to Terry, Montana. There they stole guns and set off on a crime spree. The two spent weeks traveling around different towns such as Glendive, Crane, and Sydney, breaking into homes and businesses to rob them. Oh, it's the cat. I was like, is it raining? No, it's the cat moving.
Yep.
Robbing people just in general and burning down buildings, especially churches, which, like, I ain't mad at that. The two would get separated in Fargo, North Dakota. Fargo, North Dakota. Sometime in late 1907, after getting thoroughly drunk in a saloon in Helen, Montana, Panzram joined the Army and was assigned to Fort William Henry Harrison. It wouldn't take long for him to get in trouble as he refused to take orders from officers and was just generally insubordinate. He was arrested and charged and convicted of larceny for stealing $88 worth of supplies and was imprisoned at the United States Disciplinary Barracks at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas.
Damn, when was that? When was that?
From April 20th, 1908 to August 1910.
Damn, that's a lot of money worth of stuff.
$88 in 1908?
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot. Panzram would later claim that while he had been quote unquote rotten before he got to the castle, which is what people call Fort Leavenworth, because it looks like a goddamn castle.
Yeah.
Quote, any shred of goodness left him was smashed out during his time at Fort Leavenworth, end quote. Once released and discharged from the army, Panzram went right back to his criminal ways. He was most often caught for stealing and spent years in prison across the country and under various aliases. I'm talking he served sentences in Fresno, California, Rusk, Texas, Sing Sing in New York, and Clinton Correctional Facility, also in New York. And those are just a few. And like Sing Sing? Motherfucking Sing Sing.
Yeah.
That's a scary place right there.
It is now. I don't know
sure
how
it
it
wasn't
was
any better in the
back then, but
1910s. I'm sure it was fucking terrible.
Probably.
Worse than it is now.
Yeah, they were
didn't
probably
have,
worse
like,
back then.
plumbing and electricity and shit. The hygiene was probably like non-existent.
Right.
You kidding me? Prisons were like one step up from insane asylums.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
While he was in prison, he was known to attack guards and refused to follow any orders from anyone and was often beaten for these infractions. In his autobiography, Panzram wrote that he was meanness personified and talked about how he would often rob other men in prison and then rape them. Jesus. He was able to do this due to his huge size he had grown to from all of his hard labor in prison. He also liked to vandalize and set fires while he was in prison. So he's just like fucking with everybody. He don't give a shit. Army, prison. He's like, fuck all y'all.
Smash all your faces.
His crimes of assaulting people, not great. His personality as a person, I kind of love him, to be honest.
Like a beast.
Just crazy. Panzram would claim the only time he could remember not being a criminal was when he was hired to be a strikebreaker against union employees. After he was released in 1910, Panzram drifted around Colorado and New York State. He took odd jobs wherever he could, but his temper always had him at odds with those around him, so he never stayed in one place for long. Once he reached St. Louis, he got the one job that would keep him clean and out of trouble: strike breaking. With this job, he was required to infiltrate strikes and beat up union members. He was so good at his job, he was sent to Cairo, Illinois, with glowing letters of recommendation. But his time there would be short lived as his actions angered the locals who trapped him in an alleyway and beat him until he passed out.
Hmm.
He was arrested and jailed before his boss bailed him out. Tired of trying to live the legal life, Panzram made his way to fucking Mexico.
Right on.
Man. Yeah. What's even crazier about this motherfucker? He don't just go to Mexico. This motherfucker travels all over the world and commits his crimes.
Right.
Like, but could not stay out of trouble long enough to reach the border. He was arrested in Jacksonville, Texas, and sentenced to hard labor. He did this for 2 months before he was able to escape and hopped a train to Houston. Once in Houston, the train was forced to stop due to a fire that had broken out, and all the passengers were evacuated from the train. And this is when you really go, all right, Carl, you an asshole. Pretending to want to help with the fire, Panzram took the opportunity to rob the homes of local residences.
Holy shit.
From this, he was able to gather enough money to make his way to El Paso, where he would cross the border to Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. During his first trip over the border, Panzram, don't get this guy. Panzram attempted to join the Federales, but was rejected. Why does he keep trying to join the military?
I don't know.
He doesn't want to fucking listen to anybody. Why do you keep trying to join the military?
Probably just wanted to kill people.
Probably. He then met a man from Oregon, and the two took a train back over the border to Del Rio, Texas. Panzram claims during this time he abducted, assaulted, and strangled a man about a mile from town and stole $35 off of him. The two men parted ways after a time, and Panzram crossed back over the border into Agua Prieta. Here he was finally able to enlist, this time in the Mexican Army's Foreign Legion, also known as the Northern Brigade Mexico. However, he only stayed in the military here for about a month, as most of the valuables from the places he was sent to had already been looted. So he again deserted the Legion, stealing a horse and weapons and riding the horse towards the border until it died.
Damn.
Also, animal abuse. All around shitty human.
Right.
He then made his way to California. Here he went by the alias Jefferson Davis and was arrested in Fresno for stealing a bicycle. He was sentenced to 6 months in county jail but escaped after only 30 days. Panzram claims he made his way to a train after this escape and disarmed a railroad employee, forcing him to rape a homeless man at gunpoint before throwing both of them off the train.
What the hell?
Now, keep in mind, these are claims that Panzram made.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of evidence to back up some of his claims,
Hmm.
most of his claims. There is evidence for a lot of the shit he did, but some of the stuff that he talks about this, we don't know if it's true or not. But
Right.
goddamn if it is true.
That's
Carl,
crazy. A homeless person?
just a hobo on the train. Aren't you glad you didn't decide to become a hobo when Carl Panzram was around?
Yeah, I mean, it's
You
dangerous.
would have been fucked up. It is very dangerous. From there, he made his way to Oregon to work as a logger. Another claim Panzram would make later in life is about a time he was staying in a brothel and had his wallet stolen. On top of that, he also claimed he ended up contracting gonorrhea. He slowly became more and more paranoid, claiming the law was constantly on his tail. Which you fucking are running around robbing people, stealing shit, assaulting people, making people rape homeless men on the train. Probably.
Yeah. You're gonna have a guilty conscience.
Yeah.
Like,
In 1913, while going by the alias Jack Allen Panzram, or going by the alias Jack Allen, Panzram was arrested in the Dalles, Oregon for highway robbery, assault, and sodomy. He was only in jail for 2 months before he escaped and made his way to Idaho, where he was arrested under the alias Jeff Davis. He once again was able to escape from county jail and made his way back to Montana. I'll tell you, this is like, and then he went here and did this, and then he did this, and then he broke out of here, and then he went and did this, and it's like, fun fact, this motherfucker dies at like 41.
hmm.
He does all this shit in 40 years.
That's wild.
Here he again gave the name Jeff Davis when he was arrested in Malta on April 7th, 1913. Then he was transferred to Chinook to stand for crimes committed there. Quote, a fellow giving his name as Jeff Davis was arrested Monday morning for disorderly conduct and placed in county jail. During the day, information came from Chinook that he was wanted there for breaking into a dentist office and stealing a lady's fur-lined coat and a tube of gold. A Chinook
The hell?
officer a Chinook officer came after Jeff Tuesday. The coat in question was sold in Malta for $5, and by the way it looks like, the party bought $5 worth of experience instead of a coat, end quote. Which, what the fuck ever that means. I guess he fucked the coat up. I don't know. But yeah, he stole a coat and a tube of gold.
You're trying to be a pimp.
I guess. In Chinook, under the name Jefferson Davis, Panzram was sentenced to 1 year for burglary, and he was sent to serve out his sentence at the Montana State Prison. All right, gets crazier. You ready? Quote unquote, Jeff was admitted to the Montana State Prison at Deer Lodge, Montana on April 27th, 1913. He met Jimmy Benson while incarcerated, while incarcerated, and the two planned to escape together, but Jimmy would end up getting transferred before they could follow through with their plan. On November 13th, while working on a road crew, Panzram made his escape, but again his freedom would be short-lived as he was arrested just 1 week later in Three Forks for burglary.
Hmm.
This time he gave the alias Jeff Rhodes and was once again incarcerated at Deer Lodge for a year. Boy, could you imagine being that same guard? You like, motherfucker, wasn't you just here under a different name? Panzram claims he spent much of his time in prison raping other inmates.
Jeez.
Yeah, one of those guys. On November 13th, 1913, Panzram was released from prison with a new set of clothes, $5, and a ticket to the next town over. He again took to hopping trains and traveled through Washington State, Idaho, Nebraska, and South Dakota. On June 1st, 1915, Panzram broke into a house in Astoria, Oregon, and was shortly arrested under the name Jeff Baldwin when he tried to sell the stolen items. Laughing about all his fucking names.
James's brother.
Yeah, I don't think James is I don't think James has any relation to this motherfucker.
No.
Mainly because he was black. But Under the name Baldwin, Panzram was sentenced to 7 years at the Oregon State Penitentiary in Salem, Oregon. He arrived on June 24th, 1915, and placed under the supervision of Warden Harry Minto. Minto was an asshole of a warden and used harsh punishments like beating and isolation against the inmates. Panzram swore he would never do the whole 7 years and would defy the wardens and guards at every turn. So 1915 would be the year that we know that Panzram's crimes stepped up from burglary to accessory to murder. Sometime in September of 1915, Panzram helped inmate Otto Hooker escape from the prison. While attempting to not get recaptured, Hooker killed Warden Minto on September 27th. This was probably one of the several times Panzram was disciplined while incarcerated at Salem. One such punishment saw Panzram in solitary confinement for 60 days.
Jeez.
That'll drive you crazy.
Yeah.
He escaped on September 18th, 1917. A reward of $50 was offered for his recapture. He was involved in 2 shootouts with law enforcement before he was finally recaptured and sent back to prison. He again escaped on May 12th, 1918 by sawing through the bars of his cell. He then hopped a train headed west and began going by the name John O'Leary. So we left Jeff behind. Jeff is done. Now we're John. He also shaved off his mustache to change his appearance.
Hmm.
Carl would never again return to the Pacific Northwest. Panzram is now 27 years old.
Jeez.
It's just now 27.
That's messed up.
He's done all this shit.
Super criminal.
Like, and has several bounties on his heads in several counties. So he again attempted to enlist in the army, this time at Mearsdale, Pennsylvania, but again only lasted a few days before he deserted. He spent a few days doing odd jobs around Sparrows Point, Maryland, before traveling towards Baltimore. On the way, he met a young boy who helped him rob a local hotel in Frederick, Maryland, before he found his way to New York City. From here, Panzram joined various labor unions and got himself a seaman's ID. Um, y'all, I'm 12, okay? In my heart, I'm 12, and it's seaman, okay? He set sail on the steamship James S. Whitney, headed for Panama. On this journey, he got a drunken sailor to help him steal a boat. The two killed everyone on the vessel, and then the sailor got arrested.
Damn.
However,
Now he's pirating.
mhm,
Yard.
Panzram, however, was still free and made his way to Peru, where he worked in a copper mine. From here, he sailed to Port Arthur, Texas, then to Glasgow, Scotland. When the ship docked, Panzram attempted to rob it, but was caught, and for a few days held in His Majesty's prison, Barley, which it was probably Her Majesty's prison then. I don't know who was around before Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which, if you don't remember from the other shows, HMP stands for now, anyways, His Majesty's prison. If it's a queen, it's Her Majesty's prison. Whatever.
There was something else we ran into too that was like His Majesty's something. Forgot
Yeah,
what it was
there was
though.
another story that we did where somebody was in His Majesty's prison.
Or was it like Royal Ship or something?
No, there was another HMP that we covered in a different episode, but I don't remember.
I think it was
It was probably on the history one.
I think it was one of the pirate ones or the sea ones
Maybe.
where it was like a ship was part of the Royal Majesty's army or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, probably. After his arrest, Panzram continued traveling on to Southampton and London, crossed the English Channel to France. After his money ran out, he joined the crew of a ship sailing to Hamburg, Germany, staying in several ports before returning to the US. Excuse me. In 1920, Panzram committed a robbery in Newport, Rhode Island before heading to Bridgeport, Connecticut, where he robbed a jewelry store of around $1,500.
Wow.
Which, yeah, in 1920, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
He sailed back to Hamburg, but stayed only for 2 weeks this time before his funds ran out, and he once again returned to the US. A few days later, he sailed to New Haven, Connecticut, where he robbed his biggest target yet. Still salty over his incarceration at Fort Leavenworth, Panzram burglarized the William H. Taft Museum, one of the residences of the former president. Here, he stole jewelry, bonds, and Taft's Colt 45 and two zigzags. Baby, that's all we need.
A couple of 40s.
It's the song. It'll always, every time I hear Colt 45, it's and two zigzags. Baby, that's all we need. From this robbery, Panzram was able to buy a yacht and then set out on an 8-year killing spree. He started his spree by sailing south to New York City, where he spent 3 months luring drunken sailors away from port bars, raping them, shooting them with Taft's stolen pistol, and then dumping their bodies near Execution Rock Light in Long Island Sound. He
Damn.
claims to have killed at least 10 men in this manner before his ship ran aground and sank near Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Hmm.
Panzram, under the alias John O'Leary, and 2 other men had to lash themselves to the capstan as the ship foundered and turned over. On October 6, 1920, they were rescued, and Panzram spent some time in the hospital for shock and exposure. But he was better and out by October 26 when he was arrested for burglary and possession of a loaded handgun. In 1921, not sure if it was for this offense or another one, Panzram would spend 6 months in jail in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I'm only on page 11 of 19, just so you know.
That's crazy.
After his release, he made his way to Philadelphia, where he was involved in a shootout with police and was once again arrested. He was convicted of aggravated assault and inciting a riot, but was released on bail before his prison sentence was put into effect and fled to Norfolk, Virginia. Here, he caught a ship to Luanda, the capital of the colonial Portuguese Angola in Africa. So now he's fucking going to Africa. He's been to Mexico, Peru, London, Scotland,
It's over here on the border of Virginia.
all over the fucking US. Like, how easy it must have been to fucking travel back then? To just hop on a ship and just be
Sure.
like, I'm going to Scotland. No, like, you ain't gotta buy a ticket. You ain't gotta like show an ID. You ain't need no like paperwork. No, just go. Weird how that worked.
Yeah.
He worked on an oil rig
They'd
and
ask for his ticket and he'd shove him over the edge.
probably
That's how that went.
he worked on an oil rig in Angola where he would become the foreman in 1921. But again, this job would not last as Panzram burn down the rig, would burn the rig down out of quote unquote spitefulness. Sir? The fuck?
And not going nowhere. Okay. Fire.
Right. Um, we're gonna get into the rape of children here. Quick warning for that. Skip ahead. Couple minutes. It's a lot. Okay. Panzram decided from there he needed to find himself a virgin girl. He paid a local family in Angola 80 escudos, or roughly $8 for their 12-year-old daughter, whom he took back to a shack and raped her. The next day, he took her back to her family and demanded his money back, claiming he was suspicious she was not a virgin. So they gave him they gave him their 8-year-old daughter, whom he also took back to his shack and raped, and then returned again the next day, claiming he was suspicious she was not a virgin.
What the hell?
Motherfucker, she was 8. I promise you she was. I want to kill him for that.
Right.
Then he turned his attention to a local boy who worked as a waiter and raped him, which angered the locals, and he was forced to flee into the rainforest to escape.
Hmm.
Panzram went to the American Council in Luanda, but they refused to help him after contacting his employer and hearing about all the trouble he had been causing. When Panzram learned he had been fired, he hunted his boss down and beat him.
Jesus.
He claims that after this, he was sitting around when a young boy about 11 or 12 came by. Oh, trigger, this one's real rough. Quote, I sat down to think things over a bit. While I was sitting there, a kid about 11 or 12 years old came bumming around. He was looking for something. He found it too. I took him out to a gravel pit about a quarter mile away. I left him there, but first committed sodomy on him and killed him. His brains were coming out of his ears when I left him, and he will never be any deader. Then I went to town, bought a ticket on the Belgian steamer to Lobito Bay down the coast. There I hired a canoe and 6 niggers and went out hunting in the bay and backwaters. I was looking for crocodiles. I found them plenty. They were hungry. I fed them. I shot all 6 of those niggers and dumped them in. The crocs done the rest. I stole their canoe and went back to town. End quote.
Jeez.
So he's also a racist asshole.
Right.
Woo! Lord have mercy. This guy. Days after returning from his kill trip, Panzram once again found himself against the law after a sex worker he had robbed called the cops on him. To make matters worse, the American Council had opened an investigation on him, so Panzram once again fled the area, making his way along the west coast until he crossed over into Belgian Congo. If only he had known how fucked Leopold had been, he may have found the Congo to his liking. And he did hop around here for a bit. Once he reached the Congo River, he hired a rowboat and a team of oarsmen to take him to the small port of Banana. From here, he boarded a French ship which took him to Matadi, Matati. Panzram had ran through all of his funds at this point and boarded the ship West Nuno, which took him to Skeondi on the Gold Coast, where he robbed several farmers and bought a ticket on the steamship Petuni, headed for the Canary Islands. The American consul there did not recognize him and helped him get passage to Lisbon, Spain. Spanish authorities, however, had heard of Panzram's exploits because an executive of Sinclair Oil had visited Africa during his residence there. Isn't that so funny? He was forced to flee aboard a ship bound for Bristol, England. From there, he was able to board a ship that took him back to New York City. He's like a fucking pinball.
It's crazy.
Like, this man's done more in his 30 years on this world than I've done in my 40 years.
Yep.
That's insane, which, like, good, because I don't need to be doing all that shit. Nobody does. When he got back to the US, he considered becoming a hitman using the pistol he had acquired in the Congo. In 1922, he had the weapon fitted with a silencer, but when he went to test it, it was still louder than he wanted. About this, he would write later, quote, "If that heavy caliber pistol and silencer had only worked as I thought it would, I would have gone into the murder business on a whole scale." End quote. Panzram claims he had another victim during this time in Salem, Massachusetts, a boy that he had raped and killed by beating him to death with a rock on July 18th, 1922. He then moved to Yonkers, where he got a job as a night watchman at the Abaco Mill Factory. He then traveled to Providence, Rhode Island, where he stole another boat and sailed to New Haven, Connecticut, where he claims he raped and killed another young boy and spent his time robbing, raping, and stealing boats. In June of 1923, he stole two yachts, one being the yacht of Dr. Charles Payne, which was found a short time later crashed into the rocks off of New Rochelle. In New Rochelle, he stole a yacht that belonged to the police chief and lured a 15-year-old boy onto the ship with the promise of work, where he then raped him. Panzram claims that on June 27th, near Kingston, New York, he picked up a man, but soon was afraid the man was going to rob him, so he shot him with a 38 he had stolen from the yacht. He claims he then threw the man's body into the river. On June 28th, Panzram and the young man he had kidnapped earlier, George Wallowson, docked in Poughkeepsie, where Panzram stole $1,000 worth of fishing nets. When they were either docked or sailing by Newburgh, George jumped overboard and swam to shore. When he got back to Yonkers, he reported his assault to Yonkers police, who put out a bolo for Captain O'Leary, who would be arrested the next day in Nyack.
Jeez.
Mhm. Which, like, I'm glad that George survived,
Yeah.
so he could, like, sorry, I'm digging from a charger. So he could, like, get Panzram arrested. While held in jail, Panzram attempted to escape on July 9th. He then conned his attorney by signing over ownership of the stolen yacht in place of bail money. He then skipped out on the bail, and the government confiscated the boat. This
The one
dumbass
he stole
attorney.
from the police?
Yes. Yes. He
So
signed
he
it
stole
over.
it and then used it for bail.
Yes. And then the cop said, "I'd like my boat back, please."
What the hell?
And then he skipped out on his bail. On August 24th, he found a job aboard the USS Grant, a troop ship bound for China, but he was let go before they left port after he got drunk and had started fights with other soldiers. On the 26th, under the alias O'Leary, he was arrested again, this time for breaking into a train depot. He was sentenced to 5 years for breaking into the train station. While in the county jail, he confessed to the alias Jeff Baldwin and admitted that he was wanted in Oregon. When he was arrested, he also attempted to claim the $500 reward for information on himself. Mm. It's so funny.
What the hell?
Like, sir, you didn't turn yourself in. You were arrested. Okay. He was first sent to Sing Sing prison before being transferred to Clinton prison. He again attempted to escape, but this time ended up with an injured spine and broken ankles. So I'm thinking he must have
Jumped out
jumped.
a window.
Yeah. He was released in July of 1928, and this would be his last taste of freedom. Finally. On August 30th, 1928, Panzram was arrested in Baltimore for a burglary committed in Washington, D.C. on August 20th. The other three men who were arrested as accomplices, wait, three other men were arrested as accomplices, and most of the valuables that had been stolen were returned. Panzram gave his real name this time, although he did lie about his age and where he was from. He then confessed to killing several boys over the past few weeks, one in Salem, one in Connecticut, and 14-year-old Alexander Lozaki in Philly. He was also confirmed to have murdered another boy at Pier 28 on League Island shortly before his arrest. When he confessed to killing Henry McMahon, he was asked what he got out of killing a kid. He replied that he, quote, hated the human race and that I get a kick out of murdering people, end quote.
All right.
I mean, I hate the human race. I would probably get a kick out of murdering a certain subset of people, but not children.
No.
Considering all of his crimes, Panzram was sentenced 25 years to life at Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary.
Hadn't he been there before?
Yes, sir, he had. He warned the warden when he was brought in, quote, I'll kill the first man that bothers me, end quote. And he does.
Jesus.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and say Panzram, bad dude, deserves to be in prison, deserves to die. They set him up on this next part. They literally set him up.
Hmm.
Considered to be too dangerous, Panzram was assigned to work alone in the laundry room. The foreman was a prison guard named Robert Warnke, who was known to be a bully and harass prisoners who were assigned to work under him. Panzram warned him several times to leave him be, but Warnke continued on with his harassment. On June 29th, 1929, Panzram beat Warnke to death with an iron bar and would be sentenced to death for his crime. They set him up.
Right.
They were like, we got this asshole guard. Nobody fucking likes him. We got this crazy motherfucker that'll kill anybody that fucks with him. Let's put him in there so we can kill this guy, and then we'll kill that guy for killing that guy, and then we're done.
Right.
I think they set him up on that one.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But he doesn't care.
No.
He's fine with it. Panzram refused any and all appeals of his sentence. When he got offers from activists to intervene on his behalf, he would typically write in response, quote, the only thanks you and your kind will ever get from me for your efforts on my behalf is that I wish you all had one neck and I had my hands on it, end quote. This motherfucker. However, there was one bright spot for Panzram while on death row. He was befriended by Officer Henry Philip Lesser. Lesser would give him money to buy cigarettes and even got him writing materials. With those materials, Panzram wrote a detailed summaries of his crimes and philosophy. These writings begin with the following statement, quote, in my lifetime, I have murdered 21 human beings. I have committed thousands of burglaries, robberies, larcenies, arsons, and last but not least, I have committed sodomy on more than 1,000 male human beings.
Jeez.
For all these things, I am not the least bit sorry. I have no conscience, so that does not worry me. I do not believe in man, God, nor devil. I hate the whole damn human race, including myself. I have no desire whatever to reform myself. My only desire is to reform other people who try to reform me, and I believe the only way to reform people is to kill them. My motto is rob 'em all, rape 'em all, and kill 'em all. I am very truly yours, signed Cooper John II Carl Panzram. End
Holy
quote.
shit. Is that where the Metallica album came from?
What?
Kill 'em all?
I have no idea. You'd have to ask them that. I hope not.
Wow.
Let's not be quoting Carl Panzram here, folks.
That's nuts. What a fucking beast of a guy.
Yeah. Carl Panzram, hang on. died by hanging on September 5th, 1930. And he was born in 1991. So he was, or
1891.
1891, 9, he was 39 years old.
Jeez.
While having the black hood placed on his head, he spat in the executioner's face. Then, when asked if he had any last words, he said, quote, "Yes, hurry it up, you Hoosier bastard. I could kill a dozen men while you're screwing around." End quote. And that
God dang.
is the life and crime of Carl Panzram.
What the fuck, man?
Thoughts, Bill?
That's a scary motherfucker.
I was like,
Just like the
he's a
two-headed,
bad guy. I don't love this guy. I'm not, in fact, like, he's not my favorite or anything, but I do love his personality so
just like the tattoo is
yeah.
just like fucking scary as fuck.
He's a scary looking fucking dude.
It's a
And he was a big fucking dude too. He's
two-headed
ripped.
eagle with like liberty and justice on the top of it.
He was fucking jacked.
It's like a nautical star. That's crazy.
I mean, from the time
And he was crazy jacked.
from 8 to 39, he spent 31 years in and out of jail and prison.
Just killing people
And
too.
just killing people, raping people, stealing shit. He just had no desire to be an even halfway decent human being in this world. Which
Right.
maybe the brain thing.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you can't drill into a child's brain, into his skull at your house and think that it's not going to fuck up what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Like, brain damage, abuse, assault, it's all a perfect storm for the most evil people to walk among us. And if
Yeah.
Panzram claims are true, it is evil that we as a society create, and it's on us to deal with it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We will see you guys in a couple weeks, a few weeks. I'm not really sure what our schedule's at right now with this particular
Yeah.
show. Since it's a bi-weekly show on Patreon, we might get you another one out next week.
Yeah.
In the next couple of weeks, you might get one over the holidays, but we are going to be taking um 2 weeks
Christmas.
off over Christmas and the New Year. So we will see you guys in 2026.
Yep.
Holy
Happy
shit.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy
Merry
Hanukkah.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Yule. Happy Saturnalia.
Do some Mary Louid like
Yeah.
we did last night.
Go do some way sailing.
Yeah.
Yes, way sailing. We saw a bunch of people way sailing last night.
And
It was
keep that
fun.
Yule log burning.
That's right. All right, Patreonuses, we appreciate you guys being here with us. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Enjoyed's not the right
I
word,
mean,
but
if you look under cynical eyes, it's kind of comedic.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so far removed that it's easier for me to laugh about it,
Right.
because he died in 1930. That's literally almost 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But wow, he was a hoot. Not, and I'm glad I got that.
Kind of reminds me of the movie, what is it? I want to say Fantastical Beast, but it's not. It's something Beast.
What's it about? Who's in it?
It's about this English dude that's a bank robber, and he's just this beast of a man that, like, he goes to one of his friends that used to rob banks with him. He goes to his house. He, like, pisses on his floor. Like, he, like, grabs his wife and is, like, doing things to her, and, like, he starts shouting at him to, like, he's like, "I'm gonna keep going if you don't, like, come with me and rob this bank. You want me to stay here going?" Like, you
Jesus.
know, and he's the dude's like, "No, I'm retired. I'm not doing," and he's like, "Yes, yes, you will. Yes, you will." It's just like this beast of a
All
man.
right. That sounds terrifying.
It's just kind of like that's the feeling I get from this dude. It's just like he's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants to do,
He does whatever he wants to do, whatever makes him happy. He don't give a fuck.
and will be violent about it.
But I do
And
wonder how much of that
possibly kill you,
brain shit
sodomize you.
fucked up. Yeah, he'll sodomize you and then bash your head in.
Yep.
That was his MO. Yeesh.
It's crazy.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys later.
Love you
Love you.
guys.
Bye.
Be kind to each other. Bye.